Hi, everybody. So this commenter claims, quote, the rich disproportionately fund this country, yet liberal elites want to punish them even more. Let's talk about that. According to the Tax Foundation, a think tank that some describe as centrist, some describe as conservative, the top 1% of income earners pay about 38.8% of all taxes paid. And if you look below me, that equates to about a 25% effective tax rate for the wealthy. So we could stop here. Just kidding, we're too smart for that. The deception lies in how the wealthy make their money versus how regular people make their money and how it is taxed. First, let's talk about regular folk. Regular folk make their money in paychecks, right? Every 2 weeks you get a paycheck and that money is taxed immediately. Sure, we can do things to reduce our taxable income every year, like, I don't know, have kids. But for the most part, we make $1 and that dollar gets taxed and we have no choice. The wealthy, on the other hand, make the lion's share of their money through capital gains. A capital gain is the profit one makes off of the selling of an asset or some type of property. In the wealthy's case, it usually would mean stock dividends or the sales of stocks. And there are two types of capital gains, realized and unrealized. Realized means you sold it and made the profit. Unrealized means you didn't sell it yet. It's important to note that unrealized capital gains are not taxed at all. So for example, when you hear something like Jeff Bezos making $15 billion in a week, that's because property he owns, most likely in the stock market, went up by $15 billion. And again, that's tax-free. Now, if the asset is sold off and it becomes a realized capital gain, it gets taxed at a preferred rate, maximum of 20%. Assuming you owned it for at least a year. The problem is an extremely large portion of the income of the wealthy is in unrealized capital gains that never gets taxed, and there are many legal ways for them to keep it from ever being taxed as income. For example, they can never sell it, leave it to their heirs, tax-free on a, quote, stepped-up basis. To show you how good they are at avoiding this, ProPublica released a study a year ago exactly. And if you look at Warren Buffett, for example, you may not be able to see the number all the way to the right, but his true tax rate was 0.10%. Jeff Bezos was 0.98%. Mike Bloomberg was 1.3%. And Elon Musk was 3.27%. These guys also had years in which they paid no income taxes. By the way, George Soros belongs on this list too. So what this means is the wealthy can get away with a single-digit effective tax rate and still pay the greatest share of tax revenue because they have so much fucking money. And a single-digit effective tax rate cannot reasonably be considered paying their fair share.